Hello and welcome to the second instalment of our parent information films. This one is all based around quality of education. It's going to be delivered by myself, Mr. Corner, the Senior Assistant Head Teacher, and Mr. Friend, Assistant Head Teacher. And our roles are all based around and focused on the quality of education. We're going to talk a little bit about what is included within quality of education and some of the things that we've been working on this year and how we'll be taking things forward into September 2021. So the agenda for this parent session starts with curriculum intent, and that's Mr. Friend's responsibility. So he'll be talking you through that part. Then we'll move on to curriculum implementation, or as I like to call it, and it's more well known to parents and students, it would be teaching and learning, and how we go about driving improvements within the classroom. And finally, I'll be finishing with some updates to our home learning guidelines moving forward in September.
Hello, I'm Mike Friend, Assistant Head with oversight of the curriculum. When we talk about curriculum intent, what we really mean is what we want students to know and what they can be able to do by certain points in their school careers. So we constantly review our schemes of learning, ensuring that they're adapted if needed, and at the moment clearly matching them to our new lesson timings. And work across departments is developing all the time to strengthen links. So maths are supporting those subjects which have mathematical content, and in doing that it enables us to help our students to do the same. You can find curriculum maps through the website, and that shows the big picture for each subject. And there's also knowledge organisers which capture the core knowledge needed for each subject term by term. Every year curriculum conversations take place annually with the head, myself and the heads of department to review the curriculum. And they've been really positive as always, and we've seen some real common strengths. All of our subjects have in place spiral curriculum, which means that they revisit previous learning, and this adds new knowledge that is age or stage appropriate. And it should help them to continually build on their existing knowledge and develop a deeper understanding of the themes and topics as they progress. Lessons consistently start with retrieval exercises, which remind students of prior learning, and then it can link to what they're doing in any given lesson. And increasingly, we're starting to collate misconceptions, common areas of mistake, and we use these to plan lessons to help students avoid those certain pitfalls. One thing we're trialling this year is whole class feedback sheets, and they will often gather these, so they're really useful ways for parents as well as us to be able to check to see what has worked, what can be developed if people get stuck. It's been a really exciting year for curriculum development at Deeping. PSHE has been reintroduced as a discrete lesson across all year groups, allowing us to develop a deep understanding of topics such as diversity and a focus on student well-being, perhaps more important now than it ever has been. We're developing a curriculum for tutorial times, currently exploring kindness and ways in which we can support each other even more. Our extracurricular programme's been relaunched, offering enrichment opportunities, and it's been really well received. We'd encourage all students to join a club and for parents to talk to us if there are any barriers. Computer science have embedded teams within their lesson delivery, so that every student from year 7 upwards can be really confident in their ability to use that resource. And as restrictions have eased, it's been great to open up parts of the school to year groups which they might not have seen previously through this year, while still maintaining the integrity of their bubbles. So it's been really exciting for students now to start to have technology lessons in our bespoke technology block. We're delighted that despite the pandemic, our subjects have managed to cover our intended curriculum despite restrictions imposed upon us. Creative thinking from our heads of departments have ensured our students haven't missed out, whether that is learning drumming or buckets or science practicals through videos. Because when it comes to curriculum design, we are constantly striving to make it as new, exciting and relevant as possible.
So after we've determined the intent of our curriculum and what we want students to learn, it's all about how we implement that curriculum in the classroom and the good old-fashioned teaching and learning. As you're hopefully aware, we've been embedding over the course of the last 2 years our revised lesson structure. Our lessons will always start with some ready-to-learn activity which should be based on retrieving information from either a previous topic, a previous lesson, or maybe even further back to a previous year within the school. We're looking to see what students have remembered and what they've remembered that's going to be key to the learning in the lesson today. We'll then move on to sharing the lesson objectives of the lesson that they're about to start and why they're learning it and how it fits into the bigger picture. Then we go into our three main parts of teaching and learning. It starts with direct instruction, what we call the I do. So I, as the teacher, will deliver the key content, the key concepts, the key knowledge to the students. The second one of our main three parts is the guided practice element. That's where we will model certain activities to students. We'll work together in groups to ensure that all students know what they need to do in a following activity. We'll then go through the independent part of the lesson, where the students work using the information they've gained earlier in the lesson. They've seen it modelled by the teacher and maybe their peers, and they'll have a go at the independent practice, the independent activities to prove to us what they know, what they've understood, and also to help us as teachers identify what we need to do next. Those three parts, the I do, direct instruction, the guided practice, which we call we do, and the independent work, which we call you do, so we're asking the students to work. Those three parts are interchangeable. They don't always come in the same order. We could start with some guided practice, we could start with an independent activity, but all three of those elements will be present in every lesson. And we will always finish all of our lessons with some assessment of the learning that's taking place. What have students learned? What have they understood? What misconceptions are there that as teachers we need to plan for and prepare to correct in future lessons? I also want to touch a little bit today on remote learning, and I want to thank all parents and carers and everybody at home for the support, patience and understanding shown by all throughout this pandemic and the remote learning era. It's been a steep learning curve for all teachers, for all students and for parents and carers at home to enable us to take what we do on a day-to-day basis and do that now virtually, electronically and from different locations. And I'm pleased and I'm very proud of what everybody within the school community has done over the past 18 months. I think it's quite astounding what we've managed to achieve. And hopefully over the course of the last few months you've been able to complete our survey, our parent and carer survey around remote learning. And that one of the final questions there is how would you rate our provision out of 5 stars? And I'm really pleased to say after a huge amount of responses from parents and carers that we're averaging at 4.2 stars. And I've shared that with all the teachers in the school, the leadership and the governors, and we are very proud of that number and very pleased that you have appreciated what we're doing as a school. As we look forward to September, and you'll all know that my role is specifically about improving teaching, improving the learning and developing what we're doing. We're, as part of our trust, the Anthem Trust, we're looking to implement something called Powerful Action Steps. It's an instructional coaching program that a lot of recent research says this is one of the best ways to develop teaching and learning and teachers specifically. We've been using this since September with a small number of teachers. It's been a little bit tricky because of the pandemic, but we have been able to use it and trial it in many different ways. And we'll be looking to roll this out to all teachers from September 2021. It's a really exciting project as we continue to strive to improve and develop the quality of teaching and learning in our classrooms. And hopefully I'll be able to update you on the positive impact that's had as we move forward. And I just want to finish our presentation by giving you a few updates on our home learning provision as we move into September 2021. Clearly over the last 18 months there's been a big shift in what we've done. We've moved from Connect for home learning to Microsoft Teams because it fits in so well with our remote learning. All of our home learning activities will still be set through Microsoft Teams in the assignments function, but we're adding another key element to what we do as part of home learning, and it's the top one on the slide there, that in all subjects over the course of a fortnight, a quiz will be set through Microsoft Teams. It might be on something like Educake or Hegarty Maths or Microsoft Forms, but there will be a quiz set in each subject, and that will really help teachers to understand what's been learned, what's been understood, and where we need to go next. It'll be vitally important that you help us and encourage the students and your children to complete those quizzes. As part of our curriculum resurgence program and home learning, Year 7 and 8 will have access to a fantastic new service and program in the evenings if they are able to access it. It would be an English, Maths and Science session delivered live every week for 1 hour per each of those subjects. They will be recorded and accessible throughout the year, so students that aren't able to watch and interact with them at the right time can do so at a later date. The idea behind this program is that any learning that has been missed over the course of the last couple of years can be caught up, and if all students complete this program, it'll take them into being prepared for Year 9 and even for Key Stage 4. Exam style questions and coursework assignments are a vital part of our home learning offer, especially for exam groups. Students will be provided with exam style questions to assess their learning in specific topics. The responses to these questions will be used by teachers to plan future lessons and to support intervention. It may be that if a teacher or a subject are giving out and setting exam style questions or coursework assignments, that they take the place of the fortnightly quiz. And finally, our knowledge organisers. Hopefully you all know what I'm talking about. We've put an awful lot of hard work into those in the last few years, and students have used them really, really well. They can be found on the school website and on the student and the parent grid. Students may be set tasks to complete at home which involve engaging with these knowledge organisers in a variety of different ways. But they're a collection of key facts, concepts and vocabulary, so students will do so well if they can learn everything that's on those knowledge organisers. Some of the knowledge that is on there will be tested as part of those, as part of the ready to learn activity in our lessons and the retrieval activities. So it would be fantastic if our students can engage and interact with those even more. So from myself and from Mr. Friend, I'd like to thank you for listening and watching our presentation, and we look forward to working with you in the next academic year. Take care.